The Register says caucus goers should pay attention to Michael Bennet. Bennet pounds some truth into the campaign.
The truth is, a health care plan that starts by kicking people off their coverage makes no sense. We all know it. Before we go and blow up everything, let's try this. Give families a choice. Keep your health care or join a public option. It's that simple, and it's the fastest way to cover everybody. I'm Michael Bennet, and I approve this message.
That was one of the two new TV ads launched in the state of Iowa yesterday by Democratic presidential hopeful Senator Michael Bennet of Colorado. The Des Moines Register says it's part of a seven-figure TV and digital ad strategy to play out over the next couple of weeks. Will it work? Senator Bennet joins us now to talk about that. Senator, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Are some of the top-tier candidates not being honest about health care and how their plans actually could work and get paid for?
I actually think the only one who is being honest is Bernie Sanders, who is honest. And as Bernie says, he wrote the damn plan on Medicare for all. I wrote the damn plan on the public option. And Bernie's been clear. He's been clear that it's going to cost new taxes of over $30 trillion. He's clear that he's going to make illegal all private insurance in the country except cosmetic insurance. I do not think the American people are going to accept a plan where they have to pay $33 trillion or $31 trillion in taxes for the privilege of losing their private insurance, which is what that plan calls for. I think they'd be much happier with a public option that gives everybody in America the chance to make a choice for themselves and for their families. I think we could cover everybody within 3 years, and I think the alternative is spending 10 years fighting a losing battle on Bernie's plan instead of dealing with climate, dealing with the significant economic issues you were just talking about in your last piece. That's what we should be focused on.
Senator, it's Willie Geist. Good to see you this
Willie.
morning. So let's just say, I know you believe you'll be the nominee and you hope you'll be the nominee, but let's say, for argument's sake, that based on what you just said, Elizabeth Warren becomes the nominee and Donald Trump can stand next to her on a stage and say she wants to take away health care. She wants to take away health care from 150 million of you. She's on the record. She has supported a bill that says that. How much does that concern you in a general election?
That deeply concerns me, particularly since we passed the Affordable Care Act. I was there. I voted. I was the most vulnerable Democrat in the Senate when I voted for it. And then we were on defense for almost 10 years as the Republicans attacked us and tried to repeal the Affordable Care Act, and then they failed to do it. And for one blessed week, Democrats were on offense on health care, and then Bernie introduced Medicare for all. 6 candidates got on, including Elizabeth, on that bill, and we've been playing defense ever since. Donald Trump is the first president in American history to actually take insurance away from millions of Americans. We should make it very clear that Democrats are actually for universal coverage. He's taking their health insurance away, and I think Medicare for all, unfortunately, muddies that message because it does make illegal insurance for 180 million Americans. I mean, that's true. And that's not a Republican talking point, by the way. That's Bernie's talking point.
Senator Bennet, there's a book out currently, and it includes an allegation that Justice Kavanaugh was alleged to have conducted or behaved in a lewd and perverted way when he was 18 or 19 years of age. And as soon as the excerpts were released, several of your colleagues running for the presidency of the United States indicated that they wanted to impeach him. I'm wondering, what's your attitude toward their desire to impeach them, and what do you think the average voter thinks of another impeachment?
I think the average voter is thinking about the fact that they can't afford some combination of housing, health care, college, and early childhood education. I think that's what they're thinking about, and I think that's what we need to be focused on. We've had an economy that for 40 years, you know, all the benefit of the growth has gone to the wealthiest people in this country, and we got an education system that's reinforcing our economic inequality. That is what people are focused on. And in Iowa and New Hampshire and South Carolina, what they're trying to figure out is who among us is the best positioned to beat Donald Trump. And I think that's the right question for them to be asking, because as long as we have this circus in the White House, none of the issues that we need to contend with as Americans are going to be addressed or solved, whether it's the economic issues or the climate issues or the gun issues that Mitch McConnell won't even let us have a vote on the floor to address.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about the gun issue. The Republicans and Democrats need to come together to get something through the Senate. If Republicans and the president come up with a piece of legislation that does not go as far as Democrats would like it to go, let's say it's a maybe bit more watered down version of background checks, it's the Toomey Manchin bill versus the House bill that Democrats have, would you be willing to go along with passing some type of gun legislation, even if it doesn't go as far as you would like? And do you think other Democrats should do the same?
You know, it's not about what I would like. Almost 90% of the American people support background checks. The background checks that the House passed, they're the same background checks that Colorado, my state, a Western state, a Second Amendment state, passed almost 20 years ago. So I think it's pathetic that these guys won't bring this bill to the floor, this background check bill to the floor. And let's see let's put it on there and see who wants to vote against something that almost 90% of the American people support and that Colorado passed almost 20 years ago. Let's see them vote against a bill that's resulted in murderers and domestic abusers and convicted felons not being able to get firearms in my Western state. They can't defend their position. What they're looking for is an excuse, a way to get out of this so that they can avoid the anger of the NRA. And I think that we got to either get them to put this on the floor or we need to make it a voting issue going into this election in November.
So Senator Michael Bennet, you know, tell the truth. You've got, you know, really strong policy platform. Like him, right?
He's the real deal.
But you know what I think you're like your best campaign strategy should be is your promise for a boring presidency.
Yes.
Like you're going to bore us to death. That's what we want to see. So keep that promise coming because I'm telling you, we're tired. I think voters are tired.
It's true. They are. And you know what? They should expect this circus to be done with, and they should expect a president who does their job. This president, you look at the foreign policy stuff, all he has done since he's been president is take bad situations and make them worse.
He's a wrecking ball.
He is a wrecking ball. He is a wrecking ball, and people should be able to live their lives and expect that the president is actually trying to make things better for the American people
I'm excited
rather than make things worse.
about being bored. Senator Michael Bennett.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. Always good to see you.